New Dot TV.
This
New
is
Dot
New
TV.
Dawn TV.
New
This
Dot
is
TV.
New Dawn TV. This is New Dawn TV.
5 types of men a lady should not consider for marriage. As a lady, you deserve more. The first thing that you need to know is that you don't need a man to fulfill a purpose, but a man needs you to make a landmark. Inside you are what is needed by a man to complete his work on the earth. This is the secret: you are needed. However, Miles Monroe said, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. When you don't know your purpose as a woman, there are chances that you might live below standard. The world cannot make sense without you. Never see yourself as a second-class citizen, because you are not. If you allow your gender to shape or define you, you will soon realize that your identity has been stolen. The reason is simple: those who win in life win by self-awareness, self-appreciation, and good self-esteem. I am Rotimi Adedokun, a pastor, life coach, inspirational speaker, and a counselor. I am qualified to share my thoughts with you because of some of my experiences in life. As a pastor, I have heard a lot. I know your struggle. As a male child, I am the only son of my family. I have 7 sisters, 5 elder and 2 younger sisters with my mother. I have 8 ladies in my life before marriage. After marriage, my wife and my daughter are added to the number to increase to 10 beautiful ladies in my life. Unfortunately, I lost one in 2014, which I will be sharing with you soon if you can wait until the end of this video. The first type of man that you should not consider for marriage. 1. A man who doesn't know his creator. Everything in life answers to its source, including human beings. Whenever a connection between a man and God is not a place, disconnection becomes the order of the day. What is disconnection? Simply put, separation. Separation is what causes breakdown, lack, and emptiness. If a man is created by God, his disconnection from God will always lead to his breakdown. The reason is simple: where there is no flow, life ceases. A man's disconnection from God ceases a flow between him and God. Having a man who is broken in your life, not because of his vulnerability but for his disconnection from God, is a pointer to where and how your life will end. I presently use an iPhone, and Apple has the capacity to send a message of an update as needed. If I refuse to update my iOS, my phone will soon start to operate less than what has been designed for. Listen to this: it is better to be single forever than to be married to an empty man. How do you mean by empty, Rotimi? Thanks for asking that great question. Emptiness is what births lack of zeal and zest. Emptiness propels a lack of capacity to lead and nurture irresponsibility among men and decorate men's lives with littleness. If a man is empty, you will soon switch roles with him, which will lead to frustration unlimited. It is better to be single than to follow a man who doesn't know his source and his network. This is what I mean: never offer your heart to a man who does have a conscience. If a man doesn't have a relationship with God, such a man has a dead conscience. My wife and I have successfully kept our marriage for over 1 decade because I have a strong relationship with God through Christ Jesus. This is not proving myself strong, but by grace. This is what my wife told me. No woman should consider marriage without a strong self-conviction which proves that the man she wants to marry fears God. This is what she meant: if any woman wants peace in marriage, she should go for a man who fears God. She made that statement because whenever things get out of hands, I quickly go to her and restore peace. The question is, why should I put my ego aside for the purpose of restoring peace in my marriage? The answer is simple: I fear and report to God. On our wedding day, I walk up to her and told her what God instructed me. I am dealing with you, but I report to God. I learned this lesson of mine from Genesis. The instruction for not eating the fruit was not given to both Adam and Eve, but only Adam. You can agree that Adam report to God. Therefore, a good man who knows his Creator and develops a strong bond will always fight to keep his home and make his wife happy and give her peace of mind. Whenever there is unrest in marriage, God doesn't see a woman who is disrespectful to her husband, but God sees a man who cannot follow a simple order. You surely have peace of mind if your man knows God and builds a strong relationship with his Creator. Do you want to enjoy a blissful marriage? Hunt for a man who knows God, but you can only attract such man if you know God. These are the two secrets. If he doesn't know his Creator, he will never be creative, and if a man doesn't know God, you can never call him your husband because you cannot know him. 2. A man who always shifts his goalpost. Beyond wedding is marriage, and marriage is reality. As your marriage will reveal you to your spouse, so marriage will reveal your spouse to you. If you don't want to be surprised in marriage, it is time to be curious. Ask some deliberate, intentional, and relevant questions. Any man who cannot hold on to a project for a long time should not be a candidate. Any man who always abandons a project for another, trying something new all the time, is still a boy, and such a person is not who you want to spend the rest of your life with. Trying something new is not wrong, but trying something new on the platform of one's failure to invest the necessary time, energy, and resources to make it work is the highway to failure. Those who make things work don't quit all the time, rather they try all the time. In the process of trying, they discover what they need to do to make it work and go embark on a journey to produce results. Below are 10 questions young ladies should ask young men. 1. What do you want to achieve in life outside your job? 2. What attempt have you made towards your life goals and dream in the past years? 3. What is your passion? What are the things that take sleep away from you? 4. What price are you ready to pay? 5. Who can stop you to achieve your life goals? 6. What is the biggest price that you cannot pay? 7. What do you hate to do and why? 8. What can you sacrifice and why? 9. Who motivates you and have you ever been inspired? If yes, who? 10. Have you ever quit something because you cannot figure it out? Fairness is one of the rules of the game of life. A man who always moves the goal post is not fair. Those who are fair in their dealings keep to the rule of the game. Anyone who cannot keep to the rule of the game of life is not worth having in your heart. Great men fail, but they refuse to be a failure. Champions lose games, but they refuse to be a loser. Leaders face obstacles, but they see blockage not as a stoppage but as a passage. Greatness demands sweat, and sweat is a function of your tenacity to make something work. If a man cannot sweat for whatever he wants, he cannot build the life that you want with you. Remember, quitters don't win and winners don't quit. If a man will leave a project and try another because he can't get through it to the other side, such a man will always leave you when there is a little conflict in the house. Experts are people who invest not like others but more than others. If your man-to-be cannot invest his life in a project, he wouldn't know how to pursue you in marriage. It is simple, a good woman is a project to her man. It is foolishness to be switching goal pole of life because you can't score a ball. No good woman wants to be called the wife of a fool. Shifting of a goal pole all the time is not an indication of a champion in a man, but the displays a strong confusion. No good lady wants to end as Mrs. Confusion because you are the missus of any man that you settle with. It is simple, a confused man is a goalless man, and a goalless man is a confused man who shit goalpost. Every playman was once a playboy. As a mirror reflects one's look, so a playboy will reflect a playman. His personality right now will determine his future. A good man is firm, solid, and stable. Remember, you are a queen, don't settle for less. 3. A man who is not tough but comfortable. Another man that you should never consider for marriage is a simple and comfortable man. Simplicity is not a sign of meekness, but a demonstration of a lack of content. Knowledge and wisdom make bold. The reason is simple, the things of life might go south sometimes, and it takes only the tough to hold things together. Remember Robert Schuller, tough times don't last, tough people do. Things will go out of order. The things that you don't plan has ready-made plans for you. If your man is not tough, the tough situation might drag your family into the wrong path that your family might not be able to recover from it. I lost my first 1 million naira in 2006, and I wrote an article, The Night of a Million Laugh. It was the day that I learned the danger of being a one-man army and the price to be paid for lack of team. The world collapsed on my head. Investment refuses to yield dividends, the effort did not reward, nothing works even when I am at work, shame knocks my door, defeat slaps me on the face, and confusion sends me an email. I mistakenly opened the email while loneliness successfully took off my underwear and frustration invited me to a party where nakedness is the organizer. Debt befriends me and I became empty and I found myself on the floor because I have nothing to support me. Those who don't have the capacity to touch the bottom of a pool might not have the capability to help you when you are drowning. Life is tough, marriage is work, you need to be bold and strong to make it work. If you marry a sheep, you will be scared when a lion roars at you. This is the secret, it will happen. I am not saying all this from the platform of motivational speaking but for the position of experience. In 2014, I was in training on one of the warships of the United States Navy, where I receive a piece of news that my mother departs from this sinful world. For the first time, after the news, I started crying. While my wife and I are mourning my mother's death, another news came from Nigeria that my wife's mother, who was on a short vacation in Nigeria from the United States, died few days after she receives the news of my mother's death. My world sank, my spirit was down, nowhere to face. The unfortunate of life scenarios has just visited my family. I was left with no choice than to start misbehaving. However, I remembered if I can survive 2006 while it was still unbeliever, I can survive those big blows with Christ in me. You can now see what I said, that you should not marry a man who doesn't know his maker. If not for God and how I have prepared and developed myself before the time, I wouldn't have made it. When I was faced with the situations, I step out of the comfort zone of life and switch gear to adjust to the demand of the moment. I was able to do that because I never settle until I know that the necessary has been done. If you walk with a man who has not been to where you are going, both of you will be confused when you get there. A man who lacks experiences of life will not be able to handle you when calamity life hits. I know you are asking me, Rotimi, I love this guy, he knows the Lord and we both love ourselves. What am I going to do now? It is simple. Love does not hold marriage, it is the knowledge of God and the tough spirit that does. You need to start asking him some provoking and uncomfortable questions that will trouble him to start to dream and dream big, and also start thinking outside the box. Anyone without a big dream will always be comfortable. Comfort is the language of the poor. You can't be comfortable with where you are and desire to go to where you are supposed to be. A good life starts with discomfort and ends in comfort. If any man misplaces the priority, such a man will soon make the list of failure. A man who is afraid to fail is a failure. A man who is scared of rejection will end up being rejected. A man who refuses to suffer when he is younger will bear a burden of life when it is old. Lamentation 3:27. One of the lessons of life is that you can't prepare in battle and win, you have to prepare for a battle to win. A man who is comfortable with the status quo is not your man. A man who is comfortable with where he lives, how much he earns is not your husband. A man who is comfortable with his environment should not be found around you. The reason is simple, comfort is a disease that is more deadly than coronavirus. Self-quarantine cannot cure it. The disease of comfort is uncurable. If a man is tested positive of it, his entire lineage will be contacted. Comfort is contagious and dangerous. You can't have it and not end as a mediocre in life. Therefore, reject, run away, and never have anything to do with a comfortable man. I don't want to get you bored, I need to push the rest of the points to part 2. Watch out for part 2 of 5 types of man that you should not consider for marriage. Today, I have successfully shared with you 3 types of men that you should not consider for marriage. 1. A man who doesn't know his creator. 2. A man who always shifts his goalpost. 3. A man who is simple and comfortable. I appreciate your interest, attention, and endurance to stay to the end. Remember, you are designed for royalty, and you can't afford to settle for less. Once again, thank you. If you found this video helpful, kindly subscribe, like and share with friends and loved ones. Remember, sharing is not just caring, sharing is also living. Comment below if you have any questions, contribution or feedback. Please click the like button and turn on your bell notification. We love you.